Hi and welcome to the video. I'm Dame and this is Dame Over, and for those of you guys that don't know, this is part 3 of the mini-series where I take a look at the level 20 weapons for each class and work out whether they're actually worth having that title. So far we've looked at the assault and the medic classes. If you want to see those videos, they'll be linked in the description. But today is all about the support class and the MG42. So I'll give you a quick lowdown and comparison to the stats of the other weapons available in the support class, and particularly those other MMGs that are available to you, and we'll come to the decision together, hopefully, whether it's actually worth having the title of the max rank weapon. So the MG42 is one of only 2 MMGs that were available when Battlefield 5 first launched. The other one was the MG34, but since then we've had a couple more added to the game in the way of the VGO and the M1922 MG. And as I'm sure we all know by now, MMGs require the use of a bipod to be accurate. It's very difficult to run around and get any kills with them because you're not able to ADS like you would with a traditional weapon, and especially with LMGs as well, which are their closest competitors as far as weapon type goes. So considering you're going to be moving from cover to cover and being stationary quite a lot of the time, the things you're going to want from an MMG are a very fast fire rate and very good accuracy, especially when you have that bipod equipped, and the MG42 has all of that in absolute spades. So the specializations tree, which I'll show you now that I've gone for, is left, 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 right, and as you can see I've gone for recoil buffer. I've chosen to increase the fire rate. I also have flashless propellant because basically there's not another choice. I don't think it's particularly useful, but anyway, that's where it is. And finally, I've gone for quick reload because it is a machine gun. It takes quite a while to get more bullets into your weapon. So the most important specialization, I think, is light bolt, where you increase the fire rate to 1,200 rounds a minute. It's an absolute insane fire rate compared to the standard 981, which you think is fast enough anyway. But if you have a look at the other MMGs available to you, there's the VGO with 830, the M1922 MG with 770, and the MG34 at 670. Now, if you take into the consideration that all of these other MMGs also have exactly the same damage figures, it makes the time to kill with the MG42 so much faster compared to other MMGs. So why would you bother using anything else? Well, if we then have a look at the other MMGs as well, you can see that there's a huge difference between accuracy and control, especially when you choose certain specializations. And as far as those two statistics go, they leave the MG42 in the dust, to be perfectly honest. But does it actually make a difference in the game itself? And I don't think it does, really. Now, I am not a big fan of playing with MMGs. I find it incredibly boring to be forced to stay behind cover and lay down in a bush and wait for someone to run by. It's something that is one of the worst parts about Battlefield 5, to be perfectly honest. The way that the maps have been set up, the size of them, and the powerful nature of the MMGs, and the way that you have to play with them make for a very boring and incredibly slow experience. You have to sit back away from the action, and it encourages a very low skill and, quite frankly, very boring playstyle. Now, what I've done in the gameplay footage that you're seeing is try to include before when I'm actually getting the kill, so you can see the run up to me getting into cover and using the bipod, just to show you guys that you can play with an MMG without just laying down and waiting for someone to run by. I have quite an aggressive playstyle naturally anyway, so I like to push into the action and get as close as possible. And if we just show some of the clips here where I got in too close and didn't really know what to do, you can see how good an MMG is if you're firing it without the use of the bipod. Now, it actually, because the MG42 has such a fast fire rate, it's actually pretty good up close. As you can see, I picked up a couple of kills, and it's just sheerly because of the amount of bullets you can fire so fast, it absolutely destroys people, even if 95% of them actually do miss. But when it only takes 4 bullets to kill someone, it doesn't make that much of a difference. So anyway, back to this accuracy nonsense. Does it make that much of a difference? And I really don't think it does, to be perfectly honest. If you're going from cover to cover and using the bipod effectively, all of the recoil is essentially nullified anyway. And if you're fighting at extremely long ranges, then you can tap fire and your weapon will still be very, very accurate. And having a bit of a think about it, I'm not sure that those statistics actually take into account when the bipod is deployed. So I guess that's why the difference isn't felt as much as you might think it should be. Now, I know in some of these clips I'm showcasing how not to play, but even when you do use an MMG, it's very difficult because the bipod mechanics still have not been fixed. And I'll show you some of the clips now where I just kept getting chucked off of it. It's just so frustrating having to get to cover to deploy the bipod and get chucked off of that piece of cover over and over and over again, and therefore be killed because of it. It was a very frustrating experience getting footage for this weapon because it forces a playstyle on you that makes it so you can't affect the outcome of the game. It's very difficult to actually push objectives and make a difference to positioning and forcing the enemy team to back up and clearing people off of objectives because you have to sit back and just wait for someone to expose himself in the open. Expose themselves. But anyway, mini rant over. That's not what this video is about. It's about whether the MG42 is deserving of the level 20 rank. And you know what? I'm still a little bit undecided. I don't see that much of a difference between the other MMGs, as I've said before. Apart from the amount of rounds you can have in each one, that's kind of the only main difference because they are so accurate. They do fire very, very fast. The big difference with the MG42 is that the time to kill seems to be far quicker than the rest of them. So yeah, I guess because of that one statistic, it makes it the best MMG, and again, yeah, I suppose it should be the level 20 weapon. But frankly, it's a very difficult choice to make because they all just feel like exactly the same gun with a different skin. But that's just what I think. What do you guys think about the MG42? What do you think about MMGs in general? Make sure you let me know what you think down in the comments below. So let's say a very quick thank you to my Damer operatives, those of you guys supporting the channel through Patreon. It's because of you guys that I'm able to make content as often as I do. So if you want to become a patron yourself, there's a link in the description and the pinned comment. So if you had a good time, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button too. Please do remember to hit the bell button because YouTube will choose to not notify you even if you are subscribed. A ridiculous choice by those people at YouTube. So thanks for that, guys. And remember to share this video absolutely wherever you like. Until next time, that's Dame over. Peace.